What's up, Ragin Nation? How's it going? This is Alex Yu, and you're watching the TF Movie Show, and this is just a web series where we're talking about the Transformers live-action movie franchise. This is episode number 17, and this is the episode that you guys have been waiting for. Today is Friday, July 20th, day 2 of San Diego Comic-Con, and the panel for Bumblebee has already taken place. And I've been following all the coverage on social media, specifically on Twitter. I did a search for hashtag HallH, because that's where the panel was taking place. And I was surprised at how many tweets and how many detailed tweets covered all the things that were happening in real time and right then and there. I mean, I saw photos and videos, and it just felt like I was there, and just reading all those detailed tweets of what was taking place, like a play-by-play, even gave me goosebumps. It was like I was really there, but I know that if I was there, I would feel a lot different, but even without being there and just reading everything that was taking place already got me so pumped and excited. There was a moment where I even got goosebumps. It was insane. Excuse me. But anyways, I want to give a big thank you shout out to all the people that were actively tweeting. I know I wouldn't be able to do that because if I was there, like actually there at Hall H, I wouldn't be able to multitask. I would have my eyes glued to the panel and just enjoying it, but you guys are awesome for being able to multitask, and without you guys I wouldn't be making this video right now, so thank you so much for that. Anyways, what I'm going to do right here is I'm actually going to respond and react to tweets that I read throughout the panel, and then I can give you guys a better idea of what actually took place there if you weren't able to catch any of the coverage on Twitter. So let's just start off with this amazing Bumblebee print. This is a beautiful print. It's a limited edition Comic-Con collector's print. And doesn't that look awesome? It's very simple. I love these minimalist art prints. It's only 3 colors. The Bumblebee's eyes are blue, and you got black and yellow, and you see the Volkswagen bug at the bottom end. You can only get this if you were actually at Comic-Con, but it's a great looking poster, art print, and man, if you can get your hands on it, that's awesome. It'll be at a cost though. Anyways, of course, anticipating the panel, before all that, there was, of course, all these little mini interviews that took place. And Kevin Smith was doing an interview with Travis Knight, John Cena, and Jorge Lindenberg Jr. at the IMDb Comic-Con booth, or rather their little mini panel. And I didn't get anything, I guess, that was extraordinary out of it, except for one thing, and that is Kevin Smith is an uber nerd, and I totally I love his films, but I love the fact that he's this real big nerd, and he actually said something that really resonated with me, and that is, he said that he didn't give a crap about the last 5 Transformers films. It didn't do anything for him, but the teaser trailer gave him tears. It put him to tears just like it put me to tears. Like, it just made me feel like I've been waiting for something that I've always wanted for a very, very long time, and it was finally there. And he said that. He said that, like, he didn't care about any of the last 5 Transformers films, but after seeing that teaser, it really made him feel, it really brought him back to the 80s and just felt that charm that he felt when he was watching the original cartoon. So that was awesome. Next, Entertainment Tonight interviewed the same people, and also joined by Haley Steinfeld, and then Travis Knight joined later. And what I got out of that was something actually quite substantial, and that is, this film works as a standalone film. You don't need to watch the previous 5 films to understand this one. However, if you are a fan of the previous 5 films as well as G1, then you're going to appreciate all the homages, the Easter eggs, and the cameos. And cameos, he did say cameos, so are we going to see more characters other than the 4 characters that we already know about? So that's really cool. Got really excited about that. Anyways, let's go straight into the panel. And I'm just going to read you the tweets as they happen, and that way you can get an idea of what it was like to be there, alright? So, hundreds of empty seats in Hall H, but many people outside in line missing cool panels. Why? Well, that's a little disappointing and unfortunate to know that the seats, there were still a lot of empty seats even during, right before the Bumblebee panel. I don't think they actually had an idea of what they're actually missing out on. Based on what I've read after I've seen the entire panel through Twitter, anybody who missed out, anybody who wasn't there really missed out. So that's really unfortunate, but it is Friday. All the big panels take place on Saturday, so I understand that. All right. Bumblebee panel is like a rock concert. Paramount are not messing around. And I actually read another tweet, which I don't have a screenshot of, where they were putting out a guitar as well as fog machines. They started spraying fog, smoke everywhere. So yeah, it's starting to look like a rock concert. And then check this out. This part gave me goosebumps. Stan Bush came out to perform the Touch from the 80s animated movie, Hell Yeah. And there are photos of it going on. Panel starts with a bang. So that's pretty awesome. As a matter of fact, I even caught a video and it just felt electrifying. So that was pretty awesome. I mean, imagine that. You know, waiting so long, 10 years since the first 2007 film, and then seeing Stan Lee perform right before a panel for a 1980s set Transformers film. That would have just drove you guys insane. So that's pretty awesome. Hall H is having its Transformers panel with director Travis Knight. I Want to Be a Believer. It's not Michael Bay anymore. It's something else. So, you know, this is a brand new Transformers film. It's not Michael Bay anymore. This is something entirely different. And I really think that Travis Knight wants to remind people that we're doing something that you're going to love. And it's not going to be what you've seen in the previous 5 films. We're going to change things up a bit. And, of course, you do that by changing the vision. Paramount are going heavy with Travis Knight, almost as if they're trying to remind us that a new director is helming this Transformers film. I think that it's important for Paramount to really get that message out there, because there is quite a bit of negative energy about the Transformers franchise, especially with The Last Knight. So I think that is why they decided to really push it out there that we're doing something that the fans are actually going to love. All right. Paramount playing the Introducing Travis Knight featurette. They really want to make sure the audience knows a new director is behind this film, taking the franchise in a whole new direction. Just like I said before, Paramount is really pushing and selling the idea of Travis Knight, going to bring the franchise into the direction that the fans want to see. Extended featurette for Bumblebee showing with Travis Knight is the right person for the job. Hey, I believe in Travis Knight. I saw Kubo and the Two Strings, and I really feel that he is the right man for the job. Travis Knight has taken the San Diego Comic-Con 2018 Hall H stage for Bumblebee. He mentioned that he has grown up with Transformers and that his film takes heavy inspiration from the first generation of Transformers with bright colors and heart. Well, that's a pretty big deal and a very important thing, because I always have way more faith when you bring a filmmaker, director, producer, or writer into a film when they're somebody that was a fan of the original source material. That's a big deal, because this is what they grew up with, this is what gets them excited, and this is what they would like to put in the film to get other people who are fans excited. So that's a pretty big deal. Knight is leaning into simpler plating of the G1 designs, but also modernizing it as well. So that's pretty cool. You're taking what you love about the old and also blending it with a bit of the new. So that's, I think, a great way to balance things out without just making it look too, in the words of Michael Bay, blocky. So that's a good way to, that's a good direction for it. Director Travis Knight is really making me excited for Bumblebee. He's saying all the right things, and I'm really hoping for a great 80s kid and their alien story here. I think that's exactly what we're going to get. You know, with Travis Knight being, you know, a fan and also growing up in the 80s, he really understands that era, and we're talking about an era when there was great films like E.T., Goonies, Short Circuit, and that type of storytelling that really brings you that imagination and wonder, that really makes you feel like, you know, these are just like, there's that sense of innocence and kids just exploring and seeing things that are really mysterious. And I think it's going to be a really great film and a great feel for it. So 80s, I think, is a great time frame to really set their period at. Not just because that's when G1 took place, but it's just such a charming and innocent time for a film, for storytelling. Director Travis Knight is a big fan of G1 Transformers and wants to bring that to Bumblebee. And that's very important. Like I said before, Michael Bay wasn't a fan. In fact, he thought it was stupid. So, you know, he tried. He did his best. He did what he felt was right. And I love the 2007 film, but it just kind of kept... I don't think... Eventually, as you watch the sequels, you feel that he doesn't really get it. He doesn't really understand what made G1 great. And Travis Knight is going to bring that to the table. Bumblebee is an origin story and is set during a time where he first meets humans for the first time. This movie shows you why he has such an affinity towards humans. Very interesting, considering that the fact that Bumblebee did see humans during World War II. So how is that going to happen? How is that going to take place? I mean, or unless you know, he came earlier. You know, during the movie, he comes earlier at an earlier time period, and we're going to see a flashback scene. So I don't really know. This is just one of the things that they said. Knight says he wanted to make sure that we could always see who was who on screen after complaints about some of Bay's films, and that was something that some people get and some people don't get. A lot of people understand that you know, when you're watching any of the Transformers films, you know who is fighting who. Like, for example, in the first Transformers film, even though a lot of them were colored gray and silver, you still know who was fighting who because you actually followed it, right? But there's other people who were not fans of it, and all they saw was just robots and metal clanging around it. You really couldn't see what was going on, and I totally get that. I see both sides of the story, and Travis Knight wants to make sure that you will not have that problem, whether you are a fan or not a fan of the characters. You will actually see what is going on, and I think that what he's going to do is he's actually going to pull the camera back. You know, Michael Bay has this really aggressive shooting style, handheld camera work, shaky camera, and just bringing things up in close and personal, and it just makes a lot of action happen on the screen where you can't really see what is going on. You actually kind of have to work it out in your head what is going on, and then, you know, it's not always like that, but he does do that. He wants to bring that chaos onto the screen to make it a more immersive experience, put us into the action, but I don't think it works for Transformers. It just makes us feel like it's just so chaotic. So he's going to tone it down a bit, or actually entirely, for Bumblebee. Knight spoke about growing up loving Transformers and that Bumblebee will take inspiration from the first generation and be colorful and full of heart. That's a great thing. Like I said before, he's a fan of the original cartoons, but most importantly, it's going to take inspiration from G1, the first generation, not from, you know, the first film, the first 2007 film. We're talking about G1 here, so that's why it even takes place in the 80s at all, and that Volkswagen is a bug. Bumblebee is a Volkswagen bug. B is visiting Earth in the film, but we're also going to see Cybertron. Well, that's pretty awesome. Seeing Cybertron, that's a great way to open the film, actually. We will learn about Bumblebee before he landed on Earth, so we are going to see more of Cybertron. Bumblebee will feature scenes set on Cybertron, and Knight says, yes, we do see Cybertron, and it is awesome. Very, very cool. Once again, I think it's a great way to open Bumblebee with a little Cybertron flashback, if that's exactly how they're going to open it. And this will be the 4th time where we have seen Cybertron, and I'm pretty sure it's going to look different from the other 3 times, because if you remember, Cybertron has appeared in the first film, The Dark of the Moon, and also in Last Night, and it has looked different every single time we've seen it. So which version is it? But, you know, if Bumblebee ends up being good, which I think it totally will be, I'm going to go with that version of Cybertron being the definitive version. We will visit Cybertron and Bumblebee. There will be a handful of Autobots in the film. Now that is really cool. I have an idea. I have a feeling that what we're going to see is that we're going to see actual Autobot and Decepticon interactions on Cybertron, and it'll explain why Bumblebee had to leave, and we'll see those cameos of actual characters that we know from G1. I think if it opens like that, it'll draw in the fans right away. Like, you will have the fans' attention, instead of just like having a big battle scene to take place on Cybertron, and you don't really know that you understand the story behind it and what is driving it. So I think it's important that we actually see that interaction on Cybertron. Travis Knight says, approaching animators in the same way I approach actors. Keep the emotions of Bumblebee and others genuine and real. Very, very important thing for us to connect with the animated characters, the CG created characters. We actually have to connect with them, and the only way to connect with them is creating emotion. So that's very, very important. And of course, by creating emotion, we have to get to know those characters, and by getting to know those characters, you have to create more screen time. So I think that's exactly what we're going to see in the film. Haley Steinfeld and Jorge Lindenberg Jr. have taken the stage Charlie is longing for a sense of freedom, and she finds that freedom with a car. Only this car is an Autobot caught up in an intergalactic war with the Decepticons. So what I gather from this is that she's looking for something. She feels a little bit lost. Maybe she's stuck somewhere. Maybe she's stuck in her position as someone trying to discover herself. And when she discovers Bumblebee, then she finds a sense of freedom. Maybe she's able to, instead of riding a bike, she's able to see the rest of where she lives and go out there and, see more. Because when you travel, when you get out of your comfort zone, it actually expands your mind and you get to see more and you discover more about yourself. So I understand what that's all about. Travis Knight made sure the relationship between Bumblebee and Charlie is an important one, something with heart. That's really good to know. I love that relationship, which I've seen many, many times before, but I really feel it. It's very interesting how you could feel for a character that's not a human, and if you can create that through the filmmaker's vision, then they've done a really great job. Steinfeld explains how a guy walked around on stilts to help her understand how to act with robots given their size. You remember how they did it in the Michael Bay films? They put a tennis ball on poles, and that's basically where the actors are supposed to look for their eye line, and also it helps the animators from Industrial Light and Magic animate height and animate where the positioning of the characters are, the robot characters are. Not only did they do that, but they also put actors on stilts. That way, Haley Steinfeld and the other actors have someone to react to, like an actual human being, because reacting to a tennis ball is one thing, and that's very, very challenging, but reacting to an actual human really gives them an easier time to really put out that much better performance. So I really respect that they did that, and like they're really going on the right track. I'm really liking what I'm reading about the film. Travis Knight is most happy and proud of how emotional and authentic Bumblebee feels. And, Travis Knight tooting his own horn, but I respect that. I respect that he can see, as a filmmaker, that he's really put emotion and authenticity to the film. So that is really great. Now we're going to talk about Decepticons. The Decepticons Shatter and Dropkick are triple changers. This is now confirmed that the Decepticons are triple changers. Now, we have seen jet parts and aircraft parts on them on that official image as shown by Entertainment Weekly, but it's always good to see it firsthand from the official source. So now we know they're triple changers, and that is really cool. We know that it's a Apache attack chopper, and then Shatter, I guess, is some kind of aircraft, some kind of jet. But in any case, they're triple changers, and I'm just thinking that is really cool because you're only putting 4 characters in this film. It's a much smaller film, but make 2 of those characters triple changers, so you have more modes, you see more actual transformations, and it creates more opportunities for more exciting action, and not just action on the road. So what they've done is something really, really awesome. I think it's like Paramount asking, how could we keep this film small, but also give the fans big Transformers action? We'll make all the Decepticons triple changers. That's brilliant. That isn't Starscream in the trailer, it's Blitzwing. Now that is where I was caught off guard, because if that looks like Starscream, smells like Starscream, tastes like Starscream, it's obviously Starscream. But let's not forget, we've seen Starscream in the last 5 films, or rather was Starscream in Age of Extinction? I can't even remember. But anyways, no, he wasn't. In the first 3 films, and we know what Starscream looks like. He looks like, we know what he looks like. We also know what his head looks like. And the face sculpt, the head sculpt, is actually the most identifying thing for a Transformers character. But that does not look like the Starscream that we know from the Michael Bay films. That looks like Starscream from G1, but it isn't Starscream. And I think that they wanted to go with Starscream, but they decided, you know what, we can't use that as Starscream. It just wouldn't make any sense, because it just, well, we know what Starscream looks like, and he's not recognizable as Michael Bay's Starscream, considering Michael Bay set the precedence for what Starscream should look like in a live-action film. But in any case, I mean, I thought it was Starscream. I was so sure it was Starscream, but then I later read in an interview that Travis Knight said that the jet that we see in the trailer is is not named and will be named later on. They're going to keep it under wraps. And now they revealed in the panel at San Diego Comic-Con that it's Blitzwing. This is insane. My mind is kind of blown because Blitzwing is a triple changer. So I'm thinking, is Blitzwing the third triple changer? I mean, you can't name him Blitzwing and not make him a triple changer. So I'm wondering, what is his actual mode? So I really don't know, but I hope that he is a triple changer. I would really love to see that. Imagine that, 3 triple changers. That would be badass. But Blitzwing is awesome. I'm really happy about it just because, you know, I want to see new characters. And Blitzwing is something you didn't know about Blitzwing and me, is that Blitzwing is actually my favorite triple changer. I had Blitzwing as a kid, and I love transforming Blitzwing from jet to tank to robot and all over again. And I have a connection with him. So to know that it's Blitzwing really gets me excited. And who cares if it's not Starscream? It looks like Starscream, but they already used Starscream in the other films. And the thing is that, like I said before, the characters are identified by their face sculpts. And you know how Bumblebee, you know, even though he's gone through so many different forms and now Volkswagen Bug, he's still recognizable as Bumblebee because he kept the head sculpt, all right? And you can't do that with Starscream, and I'm learning that now. Unfortunately, the jet is not Starscream. Keyword being unfortunately. So I get it. I get people are disappointed. A lot of fans are disappointed that that's not Starscream, even though it looks like Starscream. Like they said, they were so sure it was Starscream, just like myself, but it's not Starscream. But I'm always thinking that there's always a positive thing to look at it, to see from this, and that is they're bringing in a new character, another fan favorite, and that is Blitzwing. Blitzwing is a fan favorite for a lot of fans. It might not be your favorite, but it's definitely a favorite from somebody who is a fan. So let's try new characters. Let's bring brand new characters that we haven't seen before, and Blitzwing is making his live-action on-screen debut in this film. So what is there not to like about that? I mean, this is something to get excited about. Shatter and Dropkick are triple changers. They're muscle cars that can also change into aircraft, so that was already confirmed. John Cena enters the room to fight for your right. Agent Burns will be one of the film's antagonists. Can't actually see him. Interesting to know that unlike Sector 7 that we saw in 2007 film, they were kind of like the in-between characters. Sure, they were an antagonist element, but they kind of changed and developed into something better after they learned that, you know, there's a more evil NBE out there, and they work together with the Autobots. But in this case, this was pre, 2007 Sector 7. This is something entirely different, and this is like Sector 7 when they actually feared the NBE. So he's an antagonist. The Hall H crowd goes wild after viewing brand new footage from Bumblebee Movie. That is really awesome. I mean, I wish I was there to see that footage, but they played the footage and the crowd went wild. Practically in tears over here at the classic G1 designs in Bumblebee Movie. This is what I've been waiting for. Oh man, like I said, I wish I was there. I think I would have felt that energy and it would have been so emotional for me. Just saw an extended trailer and sizzle reel with clips. Lots of action and heartfelt scenes with Bumblebee and Haley Steinfeld. Also got a glimpse at a hologram version of Optimus Prime that looks very G1 in style. Oh my god. Okay, did I not call that? Okay, so Optimus Prime Peter Cullen is voicing Optimus Prime, but he's going to make a cameo appearance, and they're doing it in the form of a G1 style version of Optimus Prime in like a hologram version. I didn't know if it was going to be a hologram, but I did call it as he's just going to make a cameo appearance, and I think it might actually appear in the end of the movie, or now that I'm thinking it's a hologram, he could appear during the movie where Bumblebee keeps on reporting to Optimus Prime. That would still be very, very cool. The first scene shown reveals why Bumblebee is so scared. The lovable Autobot is being hunted down by both Agent Burns and company, as well as Blitzwing, launching a barrage of missiles on him. Oh man, so cool. I can picture it already. Blitzwing is flying through the air, and then Bumblebee is in his sights, and then he's just launching missiles everywhere, trying to blow them up, and I can imagine that being a really cool scene. We just saw 2 full scenes from Bumblebee Movie that were insane, and a new trailer. Optimus Prime G1. So, confirmed that a flat-nosed Optimus Prime is going to show up in Bumblebee. And that is awesome. I mean, you know, Bumblebee and Optimus Prime, they go together. They have to appear together. After all, they're the ones that the fans and the humans connect with the most. So I'm glad that Peter Cullen and, Optimus Prime is making an appearance there. And so the fans got 2 full scenes, a new trailer, and they got an extended featurette about Travis Knight as a director and why he's the best choice. Bumblebee looks like everything I've wanted the Transformers movies to be for the last decade. Can't wait. So I really feel that, you know, 10 years of these live action films from Michael Bay, 5 films, and, you know, I was hoping for them to get better and better and better, but I still love the first one the best. And now they're bringing back something even better. And I think that, you know, I used to be very cautiously optimistic about this film. Now I have full confidence in this film. And a lot of people are probably telling me you shouldn't overhype yourself like that. You're going to set yourself up for disappointment. I don't know. I'm thinking that a lot of what I'm reading right here is really, really positive and optimistic. So I'm going to stay optimistic. The Transformers hater that I am just love the Bumblebee sneak peek at Hall H. It has a lot of heart and charm that Michael Bay never could show, and Travis Knight comments about past movies was pretty great meta commentary. Well, Travis Knight has seen all 5 films, and he doesn't want to repeat what Michael Bay did. He wants to do something totally different, and that is bring back that G1 feel. So I'm glad that he's there, and he's the right man for the job. The Bumblebee footage looks great. A lot of positive reaction. In the footage, you find out how Bee turns into a Volkswagen Bug and learns how to transform from a car and an Autobot. So that's really cool. We're seeing a development of the character. After all, it's supposed to be like an origin story. So we're going to see the development of the character and not just, okay, Bumblebee's there and then he's a Camaro or a Volkswagen Bug. We're going to see all that and how it comes about, starting all the way from Cybertron and why he's even going to Cybertron, going from Cybertron to Earth. So it's very, very important to see that. We then see Shatter and Dropkick talk with John Cena's agent Burns and try to broker a deal with Burns. Now that's pretty cool. Decepticon, human interaction, something that we've seen not only in G1 but also in what is it, Dark of the Moon, Age of Extinction, and also in what is it, The Last Night. So they're doing that again, but that was inspired by G1, and it usually happens when Decepticons are trying to get the Autobots, and by doing that they talk with other antagonist humans. In Hall H, at Bumblebee Movie panel footage showed a fight scene with Blitzwing fighting Bumblebee. Looked very Michael Bay-like, but story and humor seems very different. We see hologram of transforming G1 Optimus Prime in the footage. Oh my god, not only do we see Optimus Prime as a flat-nosed truck, we see him transforming. So I'm just like, oh my god, everything about this sounds awesome. Optimus Prime will appear, but not how you think. Extended trailer and sizzle reel for Bumblebee shown with a holographic Optimus Prime has a very G1 feel about it. Looking like Bumblebee could be the breath of fresh air the Transformers franchise has been calling out for a long time. I already feel it's a breath of fresh air. The fact that we're getting a different director is already a breath of fresh air. John Cena is owning this panel. Audience member mentions memes. Wait a second, they're making memes of me? I've never seen these things. Cena is taking center stage of the panel because, well, he is Cena and the world loves him. Okay, John Cena is freaking hilarious. He is owning this panel. Man, I would love to be there to see that because it looks like he's really, really funny and he's just a crowd-pleasing celebrity. So very, very cool to know that is happening. And, you know, when you bring that type of excitement and humor to the crowd, it just makes the audience just not only love you more, but have more faith have a positive feeling about the movie. So that's really great. Little kid dressed as Wade Watts wants to ask Cena a question, but he can't see him. Perfect. I would have loved to see that in person. John Cena is hilarious on stage in Bumblebee. Oh my god, Peter Cullen in Hall H. Oh my god, this is getting better and better and better. Not only is the movie sounding better and better and better, but this panel just sounds like a Transformers fan's dream come true. Holy shit, it's Peter Cullen. Like, and he's not only there, but he's in the audience asking a question. Peter Cullen in Hall H asking why Optimus Prime isn't in the film and what an Autobot has to do to get his own movie. So Optimus Prime is in the film, but he's in the form of a hologram. And I think that that's all we're going to get from Optimus Prime. But he says, what an Autobot has to do to get his own movie. Could that be a teaser for if Bumblebee is a success, the next solo film will be Optimus Prime? Sounds appropriate. Sounds like a great idea, and who wouldn't want to see that? Anyways, I'm freaking loving every single tweet that I read about this, and it looks like an amazing panel to be at. I wish I could have attended it, but obviously I'm not there. But the next best thing is to see all the tweets happen in real time. And like I said, I got goosebumps and I was so excited just reading everything. So thank you so much to everybody who put out those tweets. And there you have it. How do you guys now feel about the Bumblebee movie? And I know a lot of people, I remember reading a lot of people who are not excited about it. They just don't feel it's a good idea. And some of them even said that, you know what, I'm completely done with Transformers live action franchise. It's dead to me, reboot it, or just like reboot it like 5 or 10 years later. But hey, we're getting one in 2018, only a year after the failed Transformers Last Night. And it looks like everything that we've been wanting as a Transformers fan. So there you have it. Anyways, let me know your thoughts about everything that I've read about in the comment section below. I would like to know how you guys feel now that we know so much more. They're all triple changers. We're getting a movie with heart. It's got a G1 inspiration. Optimus Prime is going to be there. And also we're getting Blitzwing instead of Starscream. How do you feel about all that? Anyways, as always, if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like me on Facebook, The Ragin Nation, also follow me on Twitter, Ragin Nation. My name is Alex, thanks for watching, and see you next time, peace.